Hi everybody, Mr. Owens here. Today we're going to be learning about circles. So we are moving on from algebra and we're going to geometry, and we're going to learn about my favorite shape, the circle. Maybe second favorite, but circles are really great, and there's a lot of cool stuff we're going to learn about. So I want to remind you that you should be taking notes during this video, so you should have a pencil and paper now. You can pause this video and go get a pencil and paper. I want to remind you that you can, or you should be, writing down everything that I write down. Okay, so for circles, first we need to go over some vocab. The first vocabulary word is pi, and pi is a number, and it is, the symbol is written like this, two lines with a squiggle on top. Oops. I like the squiggle myself, but some people just do a straight line. It's up to you. You can do either of these. For your computers, to make pi on a Google Doc, you go to Insert, and then you go to Special Character, and you type in pi, P-I, and you'll find pi. And pi is actually a ratio of circumference, and I'll go over what that means later, over diameter, and I'll go over what that means later. You don't know those words yet, but you will, okay? And pi equals 3.14, and it goes on and on and on forever. You don't need to know all the digits of pi, and I will not test you on it, but you do need to know 3.14, okay? Very, very, very important. Okay, the next thing we need to know is we can go into the word diameter, which you just saw in the definition of pi. Diameter. And the diameter is the distance across a circle going through the center. So it must go through the center, okay? So if here's a circle, now I'm going to be drawing a bunch of circles, and you will too. Your circles are not going to be perfect. My circles are not going to be perfect. That's okay. Just pretend that they are, okay? So here's a circle, and let's say this is the center point. The diameter is, it goes straight through, okay? From one side of the circle to the other, going through the center, and this is the diameter, okay? The next vocab word that you need to know is the word radius. Radius. And the radius, it's similar to the diameter, except it is halfway across a circle going to the middle. So it's the same idea, except instead of going all the way across the circle, it goes halfway across the circle. So if there's my circle, and that's my center point, the radius is halfway across. Okay, so that's the radius, halfway across. Now you might notice if you have two radiuses, two radii, right, it is the same as one diameter, right, all the way across. So what that means is to get a diameter, you do 2 times the radius to get the diameter. Or to get the radius, you do the diameter divided by 2, and that equals the radius, because 2 of the radius equals the diameter. Okay? Very, very, very important. All right. The next thing you need to know is the word circumference. And circumference is the same idea as perimeter for other shapes. So if you think back to 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, perimeter is when you add up all the sides of a shape. Now circles don't have sides. They just have one continuous line that goes around in a circle. So the circumference is the distance around the outside of a circle. Okay? And so to find the circumference, so here's a circle, here's a center point. To find the circumference, there are 2 ways to do this. One way is to do pi times the diameter, and the other way is to do 2 times pi times the radius, because 2 times the radius equals the diameter. So if I give you a problem that looks like this, let's say this is 3, right? The radius is 3. So to find this, you do circumference equals 2 times pi times 3, because that's the radius. So this is 2 times 3 is 6 times pi. And what you can do is you can go into your calculator. You go into your calculator and you do 6 times pi. And that's your answer. Now you notice it's 18.849. Now if you don't have a pi button or you can't find the pi button on your calculator, you can always use the number 3.14. Okay, so this is 18.85. And let's say this is inches. So 18.85 inches. Now if you want to use the diameter one, you do, okay, so the circumference, let me use a different color here actually. Circumference equals pi times, now the diameter would be 3 plus 3. This is 3 plus 3. Oops. So we'd have 3 and 3. And together they give you 6 inches. So pi times 6. That's exactly the same thing we had here, right? Same thing. So we're going to get the same answer, 18.85 inches. Okay? So you can do this either way, but it's really important that you know that the area or the formula for circumference is either pi times diameter or 2 times pi times the radius. Okay? Very, very, very important. Now, the last formula that you need to know is area. And you guys have learned about area for other shapes. And area is the space inside a shape, right? And to find the area of a circle, actually, let me move this over a little bit. To find the area of a circle, I'm going to make a circle, do the same circle. So we'll say it is, the radius is 3 inches. So to find the area, our formula is pi times the radius squared. Now that's squared, that floating 2, we say it's squared, but what it means, it's not radius times 2, it's pi times the radius times the radius. Okay? Now this is the formula, and you need to remember this. It's also extra important to know that squared does not mean times 2, it means something times itself. So for this one, we're going to do area equals pi times 3 squared. So what that means is not pi times 3 times 2, it's pi times 3 times 3. So when we do this, we're going to do pi times 9. So you go to your calculator, and you do, if you don't have a pi button, you just type in 3.14 times 9, and you get 28.26. If you do have a pi button, use that, and you get 28.27. So very, very close and similar. I won't take off any points. 28.27. And for this, we do inches squared. Remember, anytime you find area, you put the units squared. Okay? I'm going to do one more example with you for both area and circumference so that you can get a sense of how to do the work for this week, okay? So here is a circle. Let me use hot pink. Let's say the radius is 5 centimeters, okay? So to find the area, we're going to do pi times the radius squared. So area equals pi times 5 squared. So that means area is pi times 5 times 5. And I know that 5 times 5 is 25. So then I'm going to go into my calculator and say, okay, what's 25 times pi? It equals 78.539, so 78.54. 78.54 inches, or sorry, not inches, centimeters squared. Okay, so that's how you'd find the area. Now, if I ask you to find the circumference, say circumference equals, here I could ask myself, do I want to use pi times the diameter or 2 times pi times the radius? Now, I'm given the radius, so I could use the diameter, but I'm going to choose to do the one with the radius. So 2 times pi times the radius. So circumference equals 2 times pi times 5. And I know that 2 times 5 is 10, so 10 times pi. So circumference equals, let's put it in our calculator, pi times 10. We get 31.415, so 31.42. 31.42 centimeters. And that's your answer. Okay? So we're just using these formulas to find our answer. And this is the work I expect you to be showing. I know that this is new stuff, but please try your best. And always, always, always email me if you have a question. I want to help you. I'd love to help you. Every day I'm just sitting here waiting to help you guys. So please email me if you have any questions.